Hello. I wanted to go over this card spread that I created a while back called the Four Keys. It looks into what, why, how, and when. And I created this graphics for this just before the event. And then I forgot I had it because the event happened and I got tied up with that. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and make this now. So anyway, I made two spreads a while back, new spreads, the Four Keys, and I made one called the 3 Points. And what makes the spreads unique is there's a position, at least one position, well, in the Four Keys, it's one position that is common for all aspects we're looking into. Whatever we're looking into, this one position would be used on all aspects. So whatever card is laid in there would be used for everything we're looking into. And on the 3 points, it's three positions that are common. But this is going to be the Four Keys. And that one position that's common, the way I use it is that is the only position that has a major arcana. And so I'm going to show how to do that spread. We're going to do an actual reading here. So here's I made this mat. I didn't have it printed, but this is a design I've been putting together. And I decided to use this for the diagram of the spread as well. And I'm going to be using my Swiss deck here. And that's available on the international store and my website, tarotmaps.com, link below. So I'm going to show how this lays out. So here's the mat. I might actually have this made, but I'm not too sure yet. And the layout would look something like this. Look exactly like that. It would look like this. Now, this is an actual spread. So if you notice that in the 11 o'clock position area, there's two cards there. And also in the 3 o'clock position, two cards there too. And that's because the only place, as you're laying these cards in place, the only place a major arcana gets used is in the center. And I have the Wheel of Fortune here in the center. As I lay these cards on the outside in place, the only cards we're using is minor arcana. If a major comes up in one of those positions, we just leave it there, but we keep throwing cards into that position until a minor arcana comes up, and that's the card that's used. If you want to look at the majors underneath it while you're doing the reading, that's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and do it. And so here's how the spread works. If these cards here surrounding here would all be minor arcana, the one in the center is a major. So if you were to color code it, it would look like this. The greens would be minor arcana, and that center gold would be a major. And the red, like this. Top to bottom, or noon to 6, if you want to look at it that way, is what? What is the question? Those three cards are used to look into what. Next, we're looking into why. Then straight left to right, we look into how. How are we going to attain this? And lastly, we're looking into when. When do we act on this issue? So here's what we came up with as far as a spread. So top to bottom, what are we looking into? Any of my readings that I do always are looking at to how are we going to attain this goal, whatever that happens to be. And here I have the Page of Wands at the top, the major arcana common in the center is a Wheel of Fortune, and the bottom is the Two of Pentacles. How are we going to attain? What are we looking into here? And I see that as a new, obviously a new situation with the Page, one with not much experience, but this is constantly moving. The scenario is constantly moving here, and choices need to be made quickly because the situation could change if we stall too much, take too much time here. So challenge is here as we're looking at this moving object and things constantly changing with it. We have to make a decision. We got to jump on the bandwagon here with this and move forward, or are we going to just hope for the best and see what happens when somebody else makes a decision? We're looking at something here that's kind of important, and that is, what are we looking at here? This is an important situation. So it's not something that's a hit or miss where it will come what may. It's an important aspect to us. And we are inexperienced with this with the Page of Wands. Keep the center of this, what things that aren't moving. Look at the hub of that wheel and try to see what isn't moving, what is predictable. And that's where you'll find your answers about how clear this is, or looking for clarity on this object we're looking at. The clarity of it is in the center on things that aren't moving, things that are consistent. Things that are moving around, things that are constantly changing, are really going to help you, because that could change. But only look at what's consistent here, because that's all you can count on. So if you're seeing all this noise thinking that's good, remember that that might not be always the case. Only look at what's consistent. That's what you can count on. Why do you want this in your life? We got from upper right to lower left. We have the Six of Swords, the Wheel, and the Knight of Cups. Six of Swords is we're trying to take on some challenges here. And we think that this situation would help do that. It also frees us up to do the things we've been wanting to do with that Knight of Cups. We've been limited in our thinking and in our actions, in our situation. And that's the challenge here. Where if we can get this going, it would improve our quality of our life and the things our happiness here. So we have an opportunity to take things on here, change things around, overcome some situations, and make things right, correct some things, and make for a better situation in our life. So it's an improvement to us. It's a better quality of our situation. And we can see that would definitely be the case as far as the things that we want. If this thing that we look into if that's really accurate, then this will work. But we have to be careful with this what, because it might not be, like I said, this is moving. That wheel reminds me of just things moving constantly here. So we have to make sure that what we're seeing here in the what is really the way we want it to be, or it's really what we want. Because what we want here, this why, is true. We are looking to make some changes and make some improvements here in our situation, and that's why we have this quest. But this issue we're looking at might not be the answer, or at least not the total answer. Until things stop moving and things needs to be slowing down here, we won't know for sure if everything we're seeing is really going to be important in our goal here. How are we going to attain this from left to right? We have left to right, the Eight of Wands, the Wheel, and the Seven of Cups. Oh no, the Nine of Cups. Eight of Wands and the Nine of Cups. And this looks very good. How are we going to attain this? The best way to attain is we have to take action. We have to move forward. We have to advance. If we don't make the advancements ourselves, it's not going to happen. It won't be handed to us. We have to take the initiative here with that 8 of wands. So in that sense, we have to get the ball rolling because of our own actions here with that wheel. But if we do that, we see a lot of promise here with that 9 of cups. We also have to keep in mind our focus on what we're looking at, how we want to get, how we're going to get this situation. We have to look at it, keep in mind, are we really going after what we want as we move forward here? We have to keep that focus. If things that we're starting to do are not actually, if we're starting to veer off track with that, we need to keep that direction true, because we can drift off into other distractions here. So staying focused and being the one that takes the actions is what's going to be important, that we are the ones that are actually taking the action to do this. It's not going to come to us any other way unless we do it ourselves. Also, if you look on here on the right, we have the Chariot peeking out underneath that 9 of cups. That was a major that was thrown down. You can look at that if you wanted to. Again, I could look at that and say we have to keep the direction true. We don't want to be moving left or right. And as we want to keep that direction, we want to keep the Chariot moving forward, straight forward. So keeping our focus is going to be important. That's how we get this done. Taking an initiative with the 8 of wands and keep focused on what we're trying to accomplish and nothing else. Again, we're going back to that wheel on what. A lot of things moving around here. We have to make sure we see them. We're just looking at what's consistent, not the things that are changing every day in this situation. Just what's consistent. And we also have to keep focused on how to do this, how to get this accomplished, keeping focused on what's consistent and only that direction. And last, we look into when, upper left to lower right. Again, a second major there in the upper left with the Sun card peeking out from underneath the 3 of swords. Putting ourselves in a bright situation if we want to look at that major underneath there with that 3 of swords to the Queen of Wands or Queen of Coins down below. When do we act? Well, we act when when we feel the time is right. And we'll know that when we see the position with that. I'm really looking at that Sun card underneath that 3. When the situation looks right, when the sun, when the light is right, when the timing's right, you'll know it because you have a good, clear vision of this situation with that Queen of Coins. So you have a clear light on this situation. Act when you feel the time is right. Make moves when you feel the time is right. Act on this 8 of wands from the Queen of Coins. Take initiative when you feel like it. So follow your gut. That decision is going to be yours. You could really act anytime you want with this. This type of a situation is not going to be, when is not really a factor as far as anything more than when you're ready. Lots of times when could be looked at as when other people are in line with it. But in this situation, I'm seeing when you're ready to take action, go with it. Other people will follow in if they need to. What I like about this spread is now, if you wanted to just change this whole reading around by taking another major and putting it in the center on top of that wheel card, going through there, put it in the High Priestess or the Hermit or the Hangman or any other major in there, and you read these cards now, it would change the whole reading. It would give you another aspect of things. You wouldn't have to change the outer cards. You could leave those right where they're at. Just placing another major in the center there will give you another whole different reading. You could even take the Chariot card on the right and put it on top of that wheel and put the wheel underneath the underneath the cups, the 9 of cups. Replace those 2 cards. Or you could do the same with the Sun up there in the upper left. Or just go through your deck and find another major and put it on top of that wheel. and do the same reading with the same cards, except for that one major change. I think this could have some real advantages because you're still keeping the other cards in place. So it's another way of looking at the cards you have in front of you with making a change just by the one card. And that might throw some new insight into the reading. So that's the 4 keys using the one JJ Swiss. And I hope you like this. Our next Zoom meeting is this Tuesday, the 26th. And it'll be at tarotmaps.com and the tarot gatherings as well. So the 4 keys with the one JJ Swiss. I hope you like this. Keep throwing cards. We'll talk soon. Bye.